Now they have to adapt without Joao Cancelo as well. Not that he started too many games this season. His form definitely have dropped off quite a bit. But did that move seem a little bit strange to you?
Yes.
What was your reaction at first?
Amazed. I really was. I couldn't believe they let him go. I understood them letting go of Zinchenko at the start of the season because they had Cancelo. But then
But they do miss Zinchenko at the moment.
Of course they do. Of course. I think Zinchenko's been fantastic for them over the years. He's gone to Arsenal to see how good he is, and I think people are now appreciating how good of a footballer he is. But Cancelo was one, he's one of their best players. Yeah, he's been a little bit out of form, but whether that's a bit of confidence, a bit of dip in, the personality with Pep and Cancelo maybe went a bit off. But I think he's someone that you need. You're relying on Rico Lewis now to play as a left-back, and don't get me wrong, fantastic young talent. But Cancelo is a world-class fullback, and I think they miss him. I think what he can do when he gets the ball, he's not afraid to try things and make things happen with crosses, with the outside of the boot, or try and make a pass. Rico Lewis, for me, is still young. He's trying to keep it simple, keep it moving. I think it's a bad decision letting him go. I really do.
The point is, though, your players got to do the right thing in and around the place. The manager makes a decision, he doesn't pick him, so if that point his attitude's not at the correct level, then the club and the manager's got to say, well, it's untenable, he doesn't want to be here anymore, and we've got to make that change. Other players, when they're left out, they'll actually just do everything right, they'll fight every single day, do the professional things, and at some point you just, that relationship gets broken.
I know, but
it's being broken because Cancelo won't buy into what the manager wants, Jamie.
But if it's been broken, then as a manager like Pep, I understand he's the top of the pile and you have that sort of ruthlessness in him. But when you've got a player that you need and you need him in the squad, surely you've got to pull him in and say, right, look, I understand you're not playing, I understand your performance is a dip. He's a player that don't like being out the side, but I need you. I need you in the team.
Well, has he done
what
that?
Can we do?
That's what we don't know. Has he done that? Has he addressed it? Has he tried with him? And sometimes a player just says his head's already been turned. He might have had that contact and said, you know what, I want to go and play football somewhere else. I want to be in a different team, or a different setup, a different country. We don't always know family-wise why players want to go, or there's many situations that we don't always find out. But it is a big miss. Cancelo playing well would certainly what City would need.
I mean, I totally get your point. I totally get your point. They are sort of short in terms of fullback options at the moment, and would you put it on Cancelo? Would you put it on Pep Guardiola? Because on one aspect, it is also the manager's job to keep players who are not playing happy, and he should be happy at the fact that players want to play, because players do want to play. They want to get on the pitch.
Well, look, as Brownie said, you don't know the circumstances in terms of Cancelo maybe wanting to leave or wanting to be out. But also, as a manager, you're the manager of a football club. His priority is to make sure he's got enough depth and enough squad players in his side, enough talent to win the Premier League. And you're not going to leave yourself shook just because a player's saying, I want to go. We go, okay, you want to go? Let's have that discussion in the summer. But right now, we've got massive games coming up. We've got 19, 20 games left. I need you. I need you in the team. You might not play every week. We've got the Champions League. We've got the Premier League we're fighting for. You're not allowed to go. That's why you signed a contract. That's why you're here.
That's the thing, isn't it? Because he's gone to Bayern Munich, the one side that is arguably their biggest competitor in the Champions League, the one trophy Pep hasn't had with City.
I think the loan was the surprise, wasn't it? That actually was allowed to go. But sometimes they are just broken, these relationships. What do you do? Or you keep them in the building and you say, ultimately, you've got to you either train with a group, do the right thing, or you go and train with another group, but you're not going on loan. I think that's the point. Can we fix it going forward? These are the questions that are going to be asked, and the club as a collective decided it was the right decision to go and let him go. If you're not part of the group, it's something Manchester City have always said for some time now. If you want to move, you can go and do that, and that's what they've said.
Just how toxic can it get when a teammate or someone else in that dressing room is incredibly unhappy? Just how toxic can it be to you as a player in there?
I don't think it gets toxic as players. I think you're all in it together. You understand maybe someone's not happy, and as a group of players, you want everyone to be on side and together.
It depends at the level, doesn't it? We've seen all the different levels where some players literally are doing everything possible. They're ruining the training sessions. They're causing nightmares in meetings, and they're causing, it's non-stop of everything that they're questioning.
Was Cancelo doing that?
I'm just saying, for instance, we've seen all sorts of levels. Cancelo was clearly not happy, and he didn't want to be at the football club anymore.
I mean, I've seen players just getting the ball and just oofing it out the training ground every time they got it because they wanted to move. But I think in this...
Who was that?
Well, I don't want to mention it. It was Brownie.
Honestly, there's endless stuff, but But obviously in the dressing room,
this
you'd
day and
also
age.
get hold of him and say, listen, you're affecting us. We see you've got a problem, but you can't do that and you can't do this. This is the way it's got to be. So there is a line. But we just look at certain teams, certain players over the years have to move on. We have to accept that. That Cancelo performance, is not affecting this performance today. It's not helped regards to the situation, but he could have also played Nathan Ake. He's been saying he's been man of the match. He could have played left back. He could have left Rico Lewis at right back.
They've left
he could have
themselves short,
but he could have brought Laporte in. He could have brought Diaz in. So he had many options today in this game. Yes, he's lost John Stones, but there was loads of options they could have done. The performance, it wasn't just necessarily the personnel they've picked. The tempo was too slow. It was too comfortable in possession, and they got sucker punched on the counter attack yet again. And then with the pace that they were at, they couldn't find a way through.